So this is now on display at Mar-a-Lago. It is a golden hoofed goat wrapped in $100 Trump bills that don't say "In God we trust," they say "In Trump we trust." And there's obviously no point in having this at Mar-a-Lago. It is simply symbolic, and I don't know about you, but I really don't like the symbolism. Not only does this replace God with Trump, which is blasphemy, they are now commonly correlating goats with Trump, which for the deceived MAGA crowd means greatest of all times. But if you are a Bible-believing Christian that is using discernment in these last days, not only do you know what the word MAGA means in every language, by the way, you also know that being correlated with a goat is not a good thing. A Judas goat is a trained goat used in animal herding. A Judas goat will lead sheep to slaughter. I also want to remind everybody that MAGA in the Church of Satan is the highest ranking title, high priest or high priestess. You know, I talk a lot about how they tell us what they're going to do before they do it, or they tell us who they really are. If you have eyes to see, if you are paying attention, if you read between the lines, and everybody wants to believe that until it comes to their favorite person. And they forget that their favorite person is a government employee and also a billionaire. And you have to remember, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have that stature, if you have that much money, if you have that much power, you are one of them. The very first thing that Jesus said to his disciples about the end times was, "Do not be deceived," because he knew that in order for the beast system to be set up, in order for the Antichrist to walk out, he knew the level of deception that would have to be established for those things to happen. The general public, the world, would not accept the beast system or the Antichrist to just walk out on the scene in their true form and do what they want to do and do what Satan plans to do. So they're doing it under the guise of the golden age. They're doing it under the guise of trust the plan. They're doing it under the guise of a man that everybody trusts. Now I want to go back to this. This was the replica Ark of the Covenant that was at Mar-a-Lago for almost an entire year. The architect of this project, Jake, wanted to remain anonymous, which I always thought was really odd because this is a major project. This is apparently, historical. They put a lot of money into this thing. So why wouldn't you want to be recognized for this beautiful creation? They say, and I quote, "It was a project designed to bring," here it is again, "peace to the world." That comes straight out of the Bible. "And to bring victory to the land of Israel, and to bring peace and kindness to America again." What a weird thing to say about a replica Ark of the Covenant. Now this is where it got really weird for me, and I'll tell you what I think all of this means here in a second. So they said when the Torah was put into the replica, this Ark became weaponized. There is going to be a force that is absolutely so powerful that it's going to be something that we've seen in the movies, but for good. This replica Ark was actually taken on a trip, and they took it to many of the significant or historical locations that the first Ark of the Covenant visited in the Bible. The replica has already traveled to several significant locations, including Shiloh, the ancient site of the tabernacle, and has even made an appearance at Mar-a-Lago. That's odd in the least, wouldn't you say? Here's where I'm going to tie all of this together. So they said, "Jake hopes the replica Ark can be used more formally in the current war. We would like to bring it to a number of military camps." The original idea was to actually bring it physically into Gaza, but we are running into some administrative challenges. So they couldn't do all of this under diaper butt. So they waited until Orange Man gets into office for him to purchase Gaza and rebuild it. And it makes me wonder if the third temple is going to be built and this replica Ark under Trump is going to be placed into the third temple. That's why they said this Ark has been weaponized. Everything that Satan does is an evil copy of what God does because he thinks that he is God. He thinks that he can be God. And everything that the Antichrist will do will be an evil copy of what God does. The Antichrist, the false prophet, and AI are going to be a satanic copycat of the Holy Trinity. So it makes me wonder if this replica ark that has been weaponized will be placed in the third temple that the Antichrist will sit in and declare himself as God. Because let me tell you, this has been in the works for a few years now. They have had this plan for Gaza for a while. They were just waiting for the right person to get into office. Tens of billions of dollars in high-tech ventures. You know, it's going to be essentially probably one of those 1-5 cities that I talk a lot about. It's all a part of the beast system. It's all a part of this new system that Orange Man and Brain Chip are implementing. Jewish rabbi claims that Trump's Gaza plan is the final task before the Messiah. And let me remind everybody who is confused, the Jewish Messiah is the Antichrist, because the Jewish people, 99% of them, do not recognize Jesus as the sacrificial lamb. So that is why sacrifices will resume when the third temple is going to be built. Nothing is as it seems, y'all. We are living in the last seconds of the last days, and the Bible is very clear about what is coming. It is very clear what happens next. And let me tell you something, it is not a golden age. Discernment is so important right now. We cannot lead with our feelings, and I feel like that is what 80% of the world is doing right now. These people are telling us who they are. If you have eyes to see, if you are paying attention and using discernment, you see very clearly what this really means. Things that we see usually take a few years to come to completion. When I saw this a few years ago, you know, that part didn't make sense to me. But now when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you know, the fact that the replica ark was at Mar-a-Lago, it was considered a significant location. Now Orange Man is purchasing Gaza. It really makes you wonder, the times that we are living in, is everything going to come together, and T, the man who has his own third temple coin, is going to help start this process once he finalizes that and, you know, brings in the replica ark, puts it in the third temple. I pray that everybody opens the Word of God and reads the truth about what is coming, because God does not want us to be deceived. He actually expects us not to be deceived. He expects us to be watchful and looking out for the signs that he gives us, and to be paying attention to what is going on, and to not be leading with our feelings. The beast system is getting set up in front of our eyes, and 85 to 90, probably even more % of the world doesn't even see it, because it's being done under somebody that everybody trusts. And that is exactly what the Bible tells us that Satan is going to do in these last days. The golden age that everybody's so excited about is the NWO. It is the beast system. The golden age is the beast system that will usher in the Antichrist.